So hunting with a bow is tough. Hunting with a bow using dull broadheads, that's just dumb. You want a challenge, but you don't have to be dumb about it. So let's look at how you can easily sharpen one of the most common broadheads on the market. G5 Montecs are probably the ultimate, choice when you're doing whitetail hunting. Anything similar. They work pretty well on hogs. They work pretty well on anything in that size category. They are pretty good. So if you don't know what else you want to use and why it's theoretically better than the Montecs, just grab some Montecs, call it a day. So sharpening these 3-blade monolithic, basic, generic modern style broadheads is simple. The company themselves put out a video because people were freaking out when they first produced these and couldn't figure it out. I still get questions about it all the time. Folks, this is really simple. Welcome back to Bullets and Brass, folks. Let's get straight to the point here. You need a decent sized sharpening stone, preferably a medium, then a fine grit, and hopefully something in super fine or basically like a polishing level. If you don't have that last one, you can also use a very flat surface, polished stone countertop, that kind of thing, and some appropriate wet dry sandpaper. We're talking, several thousand grit, right? If you're gonna do that, if it doesn't come already tacky, a lot of them have like a tacky coating on the back for it sticking properly to tools, I suggest spraying some tack adhesive onto the paper. Not on your wife's countertop, just to be clear, and make sure you clean up your mess afterward, guys, but just something so that it doesn't just slip around on you. You're still probably going to have to hold the end you're pushing from. You're also going to need some lubricant, whatever matches your abrasive. I am demonstrating going in dry here, but this stone is basically trash and I'm only demonstrating. Don't do it this way. Use a lubricant. Use a cutting lubricant unless you're using a stone that specifically goes no lubricant needed. There are some ceramic or diamond stones that do that. And the last thing you need is a big black Sharpie. Yes, I like the chisel tip ones. I think they work better, but even a regular one works. Take your broadhead, Sharpie the edges. That whole bevel line, you want it nice and black. Repeat for all the bevels. Now, the basic principle is you're removing all the Sharpie. It's really that simple. Place the broadhead on your stone, point facing toward the far end, and with some care to not slice your fingers, but moderate pressure, slide the broadhead forward. Do not grind the edge of the blade on the edge of the stone. That will do bad things. Repeat this until all the Sharpie on that facing is gone. You want a nice, clean, bright metal edge right to the edge of that blade, all the way in, all the way to the point. It should look perfectly consistent. Now, obviously, if you got Sharpie into the curved sections where it's not going to get ground off, ignore that. But the flat face of that edge, all clean. Now, hopefully, you didn't have any issues with this. Your blade does not look like mine that has seen a lot of abuse here. Rotate to the next edge. Repeat the process. When all 3 facings have been done, start the next grit, re-Sharpie, start over. Now, if you really want to be picky about this, count your strokes. Do the exact same number on every face. So if you have to use more strokes on one face, go back and do the other faces with those strokes. I think this is excessive. If you are not super tuning your setup, we're talking micrograms here, folks. While I'm not going to say it's insignificant, this is so far down in the list of things to worry about that if you're watching this video, it's not relevant. I mean, to be honest, that's really where it's at. If you needed this video, you probably don't need to worry about it. Now, once you've done this on all 3 facings, you switch to the next grit, repeat, right? You can go to basically a piece of paper, actual like copy paper, and use that as a final polish. If you have a leather strop, very carefully, it's very easy to catch the other edge on a facing and rip it out of your hands, basically, with probably bad consequences for your fingers. But whatever you want to use to try to remove that final light burr. Now, what I tend to do is my last few strokes on each side on the fine grit, whatever my last actual abrasive material is, I tend to go very light, and I'll go back to each side and repeat that. So I'll do a light stroke on, I'm done. I've finished my strokes, right? I'll go back and I'll do a couple light strokes on each side just trying to just knock that burr off a little bit. And then I'm going to go to a piece of paper, a leather strop, whatever I've got available. And that's it. That's it. You are good. This whole process, if you're set up to do it, a couple minutes per blade, really, unless your blades are particularly beat up. If you're trying to restore one you've already used hunting, and that's it. Give it a little wipe with some mineral oil to protect the steel. It's a good idea even with stainless steel blades. Tuck it away for your hunt. Sharp broadheads really do make a huge difference in the results. Sharp broadheads, proper placement, is basically everything. Your poundage, meh. Faster bows, meh. Fancy arrows, blah. Put a sharp set of blades through the right spot, and you get good results. The other stuff, little advantages. To me, more poundage, faster bow, those make putting the arrow where I want easier. I get a flatter trajectory. It's a little more forgiving of my estimate mistakes in terms of distance, or if the animal tries to move a little bit, the arrow got there faster in a flatter arc. But that's minor. Your draw length matters more than your poundage. Better arrows? Unless you have really crappy arrows, entry-level arrows, you probably don't shoot better than your arrows unless your bow is super tuned and you are really good. Practice more, put the arrow in the right spot. And then, hey, if you want to spend more money on fancier arrows that maybe give you a couple percentage points better penetration, better wind performance, sure, go for it. I'm not saying it doesn't help, but I see a lot of people come through the shop where they're trying to buy better performance and the limit isn't their gear. So anyway, take care, have fun, stay safe, and give the Montecs a try. They really are a great broadhead. They get a lot of hate from the boutique guys. They get a lot of hate from the real fanboys of the high-end stuff. But at the end of the day, they are the best-selling fixed blade broadhead on the market for a reason. They really do perform well in a wide variety of circumstances. They're at a good price. They're easy to get. Give them a try.